What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday, the Sabbath day. Um, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. We will go ahead and get right into it. Before I'll jump off with that, praise report, right? I've been asking y'all to pray for me about this interview that I had coming on. Smashed it. One of, if not the best interviews I'd ever done, ever. So for all those who prayed for me, I appreciate it. Thank you. Good looking out. I got my interview swagger back. This was only like the second job I really interviewed for, real job that I really cared about getting. This was the second one in 5 years, and the first one was a bit. You could tell I was a bit I was a bit rusty on the interview process, right? And I can see it, and I can see why they went ahead with a different candidate. But this one, I killed this one. So whether I get the job or not, that's the outcome. We'll leave the outcome up to God as always. But I'm taking this as a W, because if I do have to continue interviewing, at least I got my swagger back. I got my confidence back. I can go into any room in front of anybody and be able to confidently sell myself and my skills and my services. So thank you for those that prayed. But let's get to the verse, memory verse, reflection verse of the day. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever ye do, do all to the glory of God. All right, this is, like I say, 1 Corinthians 10:31. It's Paul's first letter to the church at Corinth. And the subject had come up about eating foods that, prepared by, or the food of unbelievers, the food of pagans, the food of idolaters, idol worshipers, and whether or not we as believers could do it, whether or not we could eat that food. And Paul's overall answer was, make sure that whatever you do it to the glory of God, so that you're not causing the unbeliever, the Jew, or the believer to stumble. Right? You should be glorifying God in every decision you make. So while it might be okay for you to eat that meat, drink that drink, eat that food, whatever the case, you have that freedom to do so, but you also still have a responsibility to your neighbor, right? So what he was saying previously was, if you get invited out to a feast and they said, some food before you, don't question what it is. Don't question how it was prepared or anything like that. Just sit down and be ready to eat. On the other hand, if they do say something like this has been sacrificed to, whatever false god that they worship, then at that point, don't eat. And the next thing was like, well, if I'm thanking God for it, why can't I eat it? Well, because you might cause somebody else to stumble. You might cause somebody else to further, you might cause a non-believer or an idolater to further, dig their feet in the sand as to why they believe the way they believe. You might strengthen their faith in the falsehood, or you might strengthen their faith in, their non-acknowledgement of God. You might make them go stronger in that direction. Or maybe there's another believer at the table and they were eating. They weren't going to eat, but they see you eating. And you both know that it was food sacrificed to an idol. Then you might cause confusion to that believer. You might cause confusion to that Jew. Now, back in the Old Testament, Jews had a lot of the Hebrews, Israelites, they had a lot of food restrictions that don't necessarily apply to believers today of the New Testament. Remember, we all still in the New Testament. The New Testament ain't ended yet. So they had a lot of, in the Old Testament, they had restrictions that we don't have today. So we could still, by them having those restrictions and them living by those restrictions, we may turn them, like while we're still trying to convert the Hebrews, the Israelites, over to belief in Christ, to faith in Christ. It might cause them to stumble when they see you eating food dedicated to idols or sacrificed to idols. And part of the bigger message is that meal, that drink, that is not what's going to sustain you. That's not what gives you life. That's not what gives you strength. You get all of that from God. So you don't need that meal. It won't hurt you to not have that meal. So if it won't hurt you to not have that meal, then why do you have to, why should you feel the need to eat or drink of it in the presence of someone who may cause them to stumble? Now, as a follower of God, as a worshiper of God in Christ, that false idols are nothing, right? It's just, they might as well have dedicated it to nothing because they are not real gods. Only the one and true living God is the true God, right? And that's what it is. So that's why we have the freedom to eat it. And that's why Paul has a freedom to say, whether therefore ye eat or drink or whatsoever you do it all to the glory of God. Make sure that God is being glorified more than a desire is being satisfied in whatever it is that you do. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you got something from it. Again, please feel free to comment below. If you have any questions, if you think, something differently than, what I think, what I believe, if you interpret it in a different way, please, feel free to comment below. Anywho, y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Right now it's cloudless skies, nice powder blue skies. It's cool right now. Hopefully it'll stay that way. I don't really check the weather, so I don't know what the forecast is, but it's nice right now. So have a good day, and as always, stay out of trouble, stay out the way of that Rona. Take Jesus with you everywhere you go, and I'll holler.